Hey guys, Fred and Sheila McCoy, Hatfield McCoy Museum, FredMcCoy.com. Sheila's behind the camera.
Hi guys, hope you're having a great day.
This is going to be a follow-up to a follow-up to a follow-up. Seems like people can't get enough. And like Sheila and I was talking the other day, all we're going to do, we've covered just about everything on the feud that's been controversial throughout the years, and we've told the truth the best that we know it with proof. The majority of it with court documents, Civil War records, birth or death certificates. We've tried to be extremely clear on it and improve our point.
Okay.
Still yet, it just seems like more and more and more, either on Facebook, on some of these Facebook pages, or on YouTube channels or whatever. And all we can do at this point is, when somebody says something, is try to respond and come back with a response to it. Now, Sheila and I done a great, what I consider a great, I'm not talking about the presentation, presentability, I'm not talking about nothing, I'm talking about the facts to the case. We done a great video on facts concerning Cap Hatfield's so-called law degree, where he was a lawyer. Guys, it didn't happen. We're not going to go over that entire video again. You can go watch that one. It's an extremely good video. Sheila and I worked for months on that. We contacted every law college in Tennessee. We contacted anywhere that a story led us. We pursued it, didn't we, baby?
Yes, we did.
We pursued it. And the fact is that Cap Hatfield was not a lawyer. Now, I just read here in this article, saw a video where the gentleman says Cap was a lawyer. 2 or 3 times he says Cap was a lawyer. Guys, it's so easy to say Fred McCoy's got a whole head full of hair. I can say that. Don't make it true. And these people that tells you that, and you watch, and once again, that's why I don't watch. And it's made me so leery between the History Channel and YouTube videos. I don't hardly watch anything like that anymore unless I know the story behind it, unless I know the truth, or have read a book, or seen court documents, or I get ready to watch another video and I think, well, I don't know anything about this story. How do I know if this person's telling me the correct story or not? How do I know they know the story? Because I found out that some people just make it up as they go. You know, we've done so many videos on and made so many comments and wrote so many books and stuff with Cap Hatfield was not a lawyer.
No, he was not.
The law, the college that they say that he went through never existed. We called, I tried to find a college, we couldn't. We finally called City Hall, and that city and that college was never there.
Right.
They don't exist, never existed. And just because you see it in a book, this here was my Appalachia, and that was written by Howard B. Floyd. Sheila and I done a story on it before. And we're going to cover something in here again, because on this video that I watched recently, it had a comment there, and it was talking about Cap Hatfield was a lawyer, and then it come up on the screen and said, according to his wife, or something like that, it wrote. I'm going to show you the story that she gave Howard B. Lee. And she says he was a lawyer. Let me tell you what else she said on page 61 of the book. And Sheila will take pictures and post it. Read it for yourself. In 1922, Tennis Hatfield and another deputy sheriff went over to Pikeville, Kentucky to return a prisoner wanted in Logan County. While there, Tennis visited the aged Randall McCoy, the surviving leader of his clan, during the feud. Tennis was born long after the feud was over. Randolph told Tennis, I want to see Cap. he said, and tell him how glad I am I didn't kill him. I am so sorry Devil Anse is gone. I would like to have seen him too. Bullshit. You ever seen that little cartoon on TV? I know she's back there. She back there looks like a helicopter getting ready to take off. A little kid on
Bull hockey.
on YouTube. He goes, bullshit, bullshit. And he's calling bull crap on everything. And that's what I feel like doing here. Bullshit. Guys, listen to the date one more time. Now,
There's a couple things to listen to that'll
This
give you
is
that.
Cap's wife. Cap's wife, Nancy, his first cousin. And she's given this story to this book author. And she tells this book author, in 1922, Tennis and another deputy sheriff went over to Pikeville, Kentucky, and they run into the aged Randall McCoy, the leader of the Hatfield McCoy feud. 1922. Rich, Sheila, you want to do the honors?
Well, guys, Randolph McCoy died in 1914.
1914. Randall McCoy was long passed away.
Yep.
I don't know if the lady had dementia, what we now know as dementia, Alzheimer's,
Yep.
senility, who knows? But this didn't happen. She said she remembers talking to Randall. Randall told Tennis he was going to go home with him, going to see Cap. I'm sorry I didn't get to see Devil Anse. Now this is a man that they say stayed bitter all his life. Never forgave Devil Anse, never forgave none of them. Jim McCoy, his son, said that he would never forgive them as long as he lived.
He owed it to the dead.
He owed it to the dead to never forgive them. Of course, there's one Hatfield so-called descendant that was born in Detroit, Michigan, I believe, and now lives in Oklahoma. A lady was telling me the other day that after the movie came out, and all the Feud stuff and all this and that, he got a hold of her, and she took him around and had to show him where Cap's graveyard was, had to show him where the Hatfield cemetery where Devil Anse was buried. He wanted her to show him where everything was at. He didn't even know. He became a spokesman for the Pike County tourism. And that's okay, because like I said, I can understand they probably wanted somebody to, with the Hatfield McCoy name, and none of the locals, none of the real Hatfields and McCoys ever wanted to get involved in the Hatfield McCoy tourism thing, because it causes hard feelings. It causes videos like this, and it causes hard feelings because you're trying to correct things that other people have said. There's never been in 100 years, there's never been hard feelings like there is today. The feud was over and still over, but the hard feelings has become even harder than they were because of so-called publicity stunt peace treaties, publicity stunt lawsuits, and it's sad. It's sad. Let's get on with her. Again, on this video, it said that she told him that Cap had his law degree.
Right.
Well, she also said Randall McCoy came to visit Cap and so forth like that. You know, on Cap Hatfield, this story was Howard B. Lee, former Attorney General of West Virginia, provided this account of Nancy Hatfield, widow of Cap Hatfield, in the early 70s. Well, I think this book was 1971 maybe. Howard B. Lee, he lived from 1925 to 1933. He was a Attorney General for West Virginia.
Okay.
And yeah, 1971. He had a second printing in 1975.
Okay.
Nancy Elizabeth Smith, called Nan by her family and friends, was born in Wayne County, West Virginia, 1866, September the 10th. She died August the 24th, 1942. Now, Cap died in 1930. Cap died in 1930. In the summer of 1880, when she was 14 years old, Nancy Elizabeth married Joseph M. Glenn, young adventurer from Georgia who had established a store in the mountains and floated rafts of black walnut logs and other timber down the Tug and the Big Sandy rivers to lumber mills on the Catlettsburg, Kentucky, and Portsmouth, Ohio.
Wow. Yeah.
2 years after their marriage, Glenn was waylaid and murdered.
Yeah.
Here it says in this story, the story that she gave Lee, that he was murdered by a former business associate named Bill Smith. Now, Sheila and we've never found a Bill Smith. Well, neither did they. Neither did they.
He took off and...
Yeah, he was never apprehended.
Okay.
Never apprehended. Now, it's funny how anybody that had anything to do with the feud over the years, Altina Waller or somebody has, Coleman C., somebody has tried to connect it to timber. Throughout the years. They said when Ellis gave Johnsey turned him in. He only done it because Johnsey had a competing timber business, and that Ellis, we're going to do a story on it, but Ellis was hollering, jumping up, down, shooting his gun off. Now, they had just caught Johnsey leaving the sawmill, the timbering site, but yet they're saying he's shooting his gun off and he's happy as he can be. You really believe that? You really believe a man's going to be firing his gun off and you got 4 or 5 detectives arresting Johnsey and they're not going to try to sneak out of there as fast as they can before that group of Hatfield, the Hatfield, West Virginia Hatfield gang? But it was funny that in that story they said that he was a competing timber man with the Hatfields, and he was just wanting to turn Johnsey in because they were hauling more timber than he was. It's always got something to do with timber. A gentleman called us the other day on the phone and said, Fred, next time you and Sheila's up there in Pike County, show Randall McCoy's home place. Show the hundreds and hundreds of acres that he owned behind his house on both sides of the road. All the trees. And show the people the waterway. You know, back then you had to have a waterway to run your logs on.
Right.
He said, next time you're out there, walk out to the creek and take a picture of that creek, dried up creek, and show people the reason Randall McCoy or Daniel McCoy or nobody in that area run timber. And that's the reason is the Tug River, Guyandock River, Big Sandy, they're nowhere near where his property was. You wouldn't have been timbering over in that area.
Exactly.
Black walnut. You know, I don't know. I'm not into timber, not into wood, but I know that walnut trees is one of the most sought after, most expensive trees that there is. There may be another tree or two that's more valuable. But when I was growing up as a kid, I remember I had a smart uncle, and he said, if you want to make an investment, go get you a bunch of walnut sprouts and put all over the hill there. Plant them. By the time you're 50 years old, you're going to be a rich man. You'll have thousands of walnut trees there that will be, you can retire on what you, smart man. Of course I didn't. I was a kid.
Shucky darn.
I was too busy running around. Yeah. Too bad we don't listen to our ancestors or relatives.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know if you guys caught this or not. I'm leading up to a point here. Elizabeth, her first husband was killed.
Right.
He was waylaid, bushwhacked, killed from the bush.
Okay.
There's a couple people well known for that back in them days. But then it says, and he floated rafts of black walnut logs and other timber down the Tug River. This man here was a logger. This man here he wasn't just a logger, he was dealing in some of the most expensive and sought after trees that there was. Black walnut. It says 2 years after they were married, Glenn was waylaid and murdered by a fellow named Bill Smith. John Smith, John Doe, Jane Doe. Let's think of some names that we could come up with if you had to come up with a name real fast that you're trying to make up a story. Bill Smith. Well, it was Bill Smith, I'll tell you. We've never found a Bill Smith. Don't mean he don't exist.
That's right.
Now, you know Sheila and I, or didn't exist. I'm sure he don't today, but Don't mean he didn't exist.
Right.
We've never found him, so we're leaning on the side that he didn't. But if anybody can prove us wrong on that, please do. We'd like to know,
Yeah.
for history's sake. Because, you know, there's other books out there. I'm not going to mention the names, but there's other books that throughout the years has said that a lot of people blame Cap Hatfield. They thought Cap Hatfield had waylaid and killed her husband. She was just 14 years old, Nan was, when she got married. She was 16 years old and with child when somebody waylaid, bushwhacked her husband and killed him. And the word was that Cap wanted her for himself. At least that's in a couple of books. And relatively close to the Hatfield family. So, and of course, Sheila and I used to have a close friend and another Hatfield friend of ours that the fellow told us plenty of stories on Cap and different people, and we think he was knowledgeable and took him at his word. But anyway, Cap Hatfield ended up with Nan. He ended up with Nancy. Now, that's Cap's first cousin. Right there is Nancy's mother on the right in the plaid dress. Emma Smith. That is Devil Anse Hatfield's sister. There's Cap and Nancy and at least three of their children I see.
Yeah, looks like
the
there's
picture there to the left.
Yeah. Okay.
In the end, Cap ended up with Nan, and she had a son, and they named him Joe Glenn after his father. And you know, in this story here, they said that Joe Glenn grew up, was a leading lawyer in the city of Logan, West Virginia. Now Sheila and I haven't seen anything on that, but we've talked to people and read other stories. Joe Glenn would be more, we're leaning toward that may be the truth on Cap. See, we know Cap was not a lawyer.
Right.
You know, even one, and we're going to do a story on that after a while, but one of these Facebook pages, the author puts on there that Cap Hatfield and Joe Glenn passed the bar. Wouldn't that be a heck of a place to show? Because this man speaks as a matter of fact. He knows they passed the bar. Well, then he should have a copy of the bar. He should have a copy of the law degree, the exam. There's got to be a roster. There's got to be something that tells him that they passed the bar. Because in that Coleman Hatfield book over there, Tale of the Devil, it says that Cap also belonged to the Wyoming County and the Mingo County Bar Association. Sheila's done a story on this. I don't want to repeat.
Yeah.
But one of them, Wyoming County Bar, wasn't established until 1926.
Okay.
The case that was referred to that Cap was supposed to have represented his brother was 1912, when Willis Hatfield had killed Dr. Thornhill in 1911. So, 1912, the Wyoming County Bar didn't even exist. So Cap was not a member of that. He was not a lawyer, so he couldn't have been a member of it.
Exactly, there you go.
And in 1945, the Mingo County Bar was established. 1947, the West Virginia Bar, I think it was established. Cap Hatfield died in 1930. He would not have been a member of none of those. That's spoken into history. And guys, until we hold these people's feet to the fire, when they get on these videos or they say Cap Hatfield was this, Devil Anse was that, we need to see some proof. You've got to quit just talking stuff into history. You're messing history up when you know for a fact, Jack, that it didn't happen. We've called every college, everywhere in these books that they said he went to or attended or anything that was supposed to happen. We've researched it and it's not there. And if it's not there, it didn't happen. October 11th, 1883, a year after her husband's death at the age of 17, Nancy Elizabeth married 19-year-old Cap Hatfield. It doesn't say that they were first cousins. It doesn't say that Devil Ance's sister's daughter married Devil Ance's son, Cap. Cap was born February 6, 1864, during the Civil War. Correct. Let me tell you what kind of father Cap had. You know, a lot of people wants to blame Cap. I heard this gentleman say Cap was a troublemaker. Cap was the instigator behind a lot of it. No, I'm sorry. Sorry, but you're wrong. Devil Ance Hatfield was the instigator. Devil Ance Hatfield was the troublemaker. Devil Ance Hatfield. Mastermind, if you want to call him that.
Yeah.
Cap Hatfield was his son. Cap Hatfield was his son. His good. If there was ever a movie written about the good son, it'd be Cap Hatfield. Because Cap Hatfield was a bad man, but he was a good son. If you want to look at it as far as following his pappy's orders and desires and dreams and requests. That's what Cap did. Cap was 18 years old in 1882. 18 years old in 1882.
Wow.
What happened in 1882?
They killed
They
them.
lined,
They killed the McCoy boys.
They lined those 3 McCoy boys up, tied to trees, and Cap Hatfield, an 18-year-old kid, took his part in killing. That was first blood.
Wow.
That was his first killing, 18 years old.
That's sad.
That was by his father's orders, by his father's request, trying to please his father. You know, I talked to a gentleman earlier today, Sheila and I did. Mm-hmm. And he's from Logan County, real nice fella. And he comes up, he was telling us some history and some different things. And
Yeah.
he says, you know, I see where people always says, well, Devil Ance just killed them 3 McCoy boys, taking up for his brother because they had killed his brother. How's he think Randall McCoy felt when Devil Ance and Jim Vance killed Randall McCoy's brother? What's the difference? Was Devil Ance's brother more important than Asa Harmon, Randall McCoy's brother? I don't think so. I think both of them was important to both of them. Maybe. You know, Devil Ance's actions speak louder than words. Again, Devil Ance acted like he cared so much for his brother that he had to kill these 3 boys. Was it because he loved his brother? Was it because he wanted to make that impression? He wanted to show how mean he was. And like Randall McCoy said, there's power in numbers. He was bad when he had numbers, when he had a bunch of people around him. Well, 20 men, that's pretty good numbers. 20 to 3, that's pretty good numbers.
Yeah.
See how I drift? See how I get off on different things? So you never know what you're going to miss in our videos. But I think that Devil Ance proved, like I said, he didn't even go pick up Walt Hatfield from the prison or didn't send after him to give him a decent burial. At the urging of Nancy Elizabeth, Cap decided to study law and enrolled at the University Law School at Huntington, Tennessee. But 6 months after a renewal of the feud brought back to the mountains, he never returned to law school, but he continued his studies at his home and was admitted to the Wyoming County and Mingo County Bar. However, he never practiced.
But she said he studied at Huntington,
Tennessee.
Okay.
University.
Okay.
Huntington, Tennessee never had a university. We called and talked to several people down there, including City Hall.
Right.
Never had a law university. Cap never attended law university there.
Right.
Now, Sheila's going to take pictures of this book again. Mm-hmm. We've done it before. But when you see stories and you see, and she'll put this stuff at the end.
Sure.
But when you see videos or stories or read these stories on Facebook pages, guys, oh, please, real nice, just ask, can you show us that law degree? Now, everybody don't have their comments turned off on their videos. We turn our comments off because I don't feel like arguing. I was a cop for 40 years.
Right.
I don't feel like retiring and just arguing with people, especially over the feud. We'll show you what we find. We'll show you the evidence. We'll try to plead our case.
That's right.
And if we convince you, then that's great. If we don't, then continue to believe the way that you want. That's up to you. If you want the truth, you'll want to look at all the evidence and then say, hey, this makes sense. Now, if you just want to believe Devil Anse walked on water, he was the best, he was father of the year to his boys, he was the brother of the year, he's just something else. He was just, if you want to believe that, you can, but it's not true. Now, some people don't have their comments turned off, and we don't have to be mean, but it's nice. If you see a video and it says Cap was a lawyer, why not ask, can you please show us? You're good researchers. We've seen other research. Show us his law degree. Show us where this gentleman said that he passed the bar. Can you show us the bar? Can you show us the test? Can you show us the certificate? Can you show us anything? Because there is nothing. There is nothing other than one newspaper article where when Willis was in court, Cap sat with Joe Glenn in court. He sat at the table with Joe Glenn and tried to help. Now, did he sit there trying to help get his brother off? Because Devil Anse and the rest of them was in the back of the courtroom. Tennis, all of them were back there that they could take. There's all kinds of stories that Devil Anse kept clicking the trigger on the hammer on his rifle, and the judge finally made him stop. And was Cap there for intimidation? Was he sitting there at the lawyer's table? You know, it says this lawyer was with this bar, this lawyer was with that bar, this lawyer, and then it says Cap Hatfield, a family member. So he was with no bar. He was simply there to help his stepson with the case and support his brother, or for intimidation purposes. He didn't intimidate very much, or he wasn't very good of a representative, because the penalty for involuntary manslaughter at the time was 5 years. Maximum was 5 years. They gave Willis 4. He served 4 years. I saw you.
Yeah, I said 4.
Thanks.
I know, 4.
You know a lot. That's my researcher, buddy. You guys don't know it, but this. But anyway, that's our story. It's probably drug out longer than we wanted.
That's all right.
But when you're on these videos, if you can comment and just say, show us proof. Show us proof. Show us proof.
Yep.
And if they say they don't have proof, or one old guy, he's a jewel. And I see where people sends me things where they argue with him as much as I did. Like I said, they finally kicked me off the site with him, and kicked him off too, and then they took him back. And he's a troublemaker. He's a legend in his own mind. He's got a good name there, if that is in fact his name, if that's not just somebody that's made up a Facebook page to get on here and act like that. But he always tells you guys that research is out there. Read the law. Read this. Read that. Why don't you post it? Why make them go try to find it? If you're so sure of it and you've got it, post it on your page there. Post it and say, here guys, here it is. Here's what this person said. Here's what this person said. But this person says, it's out there. All you got to do is read the court documents. It's in the court. Post them.
Yep.
Sheila and I do.
Yeah.
Get off that keyboard Rambo, being a badass, and actually go out and find the research and show these people. And then they'll believe you instead of arguing. Told this one lady, she said, can you show me this? He said, I ain't gonna do your research for you. Go find it yourself. Well, you just said that you knew this for a fact, that you had seen the documents. Are you wanting to argue, or are you lying out? Are you lying? I see you. Are you lying? Me, I would think that you're lying. I would think you're not telling the truth. And all people's got to do is call people out like this on it. If you'll call them out enough, they'll either shut up and stop trying to fool you. They'll either do their research and actually go find what they're saying so they can prove it to you, or they'll just shut up.
This
and
one
say,
gentleman's starting to ask questions. He's asking questions and stuff, and
yeah,
and
we
correcting
get
some
things all the
that they're
time where
saying.
people send us things where they're questioning, and you never seen this before. You never seen this before. Sheila and I started doing videos and asking questions. And again,
Good
there's
job.
nothing wrong with asking questions. That's how we learn. That's history. But when you answer a question, when somebody asks you something, you say, nope, that's not what happened. Here's what happened. Devil Anse was a general, and he walked on water. And you say, well, do you have a picture? It's out there. I've seen it, but well, do you have it? Can you show it to us? No, they can't show it to you because it don't exist. You know what? Speaking of, good point. I'm gonna shut up. Let's talk about this. Talk to two people today. Talk to an elderly lady, another guy from Logan County.
Yeah, very nice.
Neither one of them. Both of them grew up in Logan County, West Virginia. Neither one of them can recall ever. We were trying to find, Sheila and I were trying to find a picture. Anything at all, newspaper, anything at all with a building, with a facade. Because we read a story a while back where it said that Cap Hatfield and Joe Glenn had a law office in Logan County. A law office. Now we've got pictures of Devil Anse and all these things that he goes to, Civil War reunions, we've got everything in the world, but we don't have one picture. And if you've got it, please send it to us.
We would love to
share
see it.
Of course, we would. It ain't that we're not wanting to see it. We hope it is. We hope it exists because it would help prove these people that's saying this their point. We don't believe it. One picture of a facade in Logan, city of Logan, county of Logan, with Joe Glenn, Cap Hatfield, attorneys at law. Wouldn't that be great to see? Wouldn't that be great to see? We've never seen it. Now Joe Glenn, he didn't die till later on in the 1900s, so he had time to do that. And we kind of think that Joe Glenn was probably actually an attorney, but Cap Hatfield wasn't.
No.
So we'd like to see on the window Joe Glenn, but more than anything, we'd like to see Cap Hatfield. Not a Photoshop, not something somebody dreams up like they did this picture of Jim Vance a while back. Guys, let me have that. She's looking at me.
Yeah.
She's looking at me.
Sorry. You
it
told me
up.
wrap it up. God, look at him. I haven't said anything yet. Hi guys. First of all, I want to say that we got the nicest letter from Miss Diane. I think her last name is Gusty, if I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you so much. That was really sweet of you to write us. Guys, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share. And we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
Thank you.